What's up, everybody? My name's Big Cam and welcome back to another Comically Boston weekly nerdy news episode that we drop every Monday, where we discuss everything that happened in the last week in nerddom. And this week, not too crazy a week, but Spider-Man has wrapped filming in Glasgow and Superman is out on digital, and there was like a behind the scenes video that got released, and we'll be talking mostly about that kind of stuff towards the end of today's show. But let's jump right on into the news, shall we? And we start with some solemn news, because Terrence Stamp, the legendary actor born in 1938, passed away the other day on August 17th of 2025. And I recognized the older Terrence Stamp, his face with the white hair, and I was like, wow, I've recognized this actor in a bunch of things, and every time I've seen him I've always liked him. But probably something I've seen him in most recently was the Phantom Menace 20th or 25th anniversary. We just went and saw, I think, last year, and he was one of, I think he's the Chancellor before Palpatine in Phantom Menace, Star Wars Episode 1. But little did I know, when he was a younger man, he was General Zod. And I almost didn't recognize him with a full head of black hair and a black mustache and beard and like this chiseled jaw. But Terrence Stamp was the original General Zod for the original Superman from '78. But for Christopher Reeve Superman, General Zod, or actually I think he doesn't come in until the second film. He may be shown in the first, but I think he's a big villain in the second film. And Zod was he was definitely the best Zod. I mean, no shade on Michael Shannon, but so far he's been the best Zod. But rest in peace, Mr. Terrence Stamp, you were a legend. But moving on into some more news and some movie posters and TV show posters, that is, with Only Murders in the Building, another Hulu TV show, as well as Alien Earth, if you guys don't know, is streaming right now on Hulu and FX and will be coming out weekly episodes, and those breakdown episodes will be coming out on the channel weekly, as well as Peacemaker once that comes out this Thursday. But we'll talk more about that in a minute. But Only Murders in the Building is back for its 5th season, September 9th on Hulu, and The Building always wins. And it seems like The Building is made out of different cards, like they're playing cards. But Steve Martin, Martin Short, and Selena Gomez have been running that show for 5 seasons. I haven't yet jumped into it. I heard it's hilarious. My mother loves it. And every time I've heard her watching the show, she laughs harder than I've ever seen her laugh. So I think she just really loves Steve Martin and Martin Short bouncing off of each other. But I think the show's pretty funny as well. And I heard that the guest cast that they have come in is phenomenal. Moving on to a movie poster, though. This is for The Conjuring Last Rites, and this is in cinemas September 5th. And for the scary, creepy people out there that like the Conjuring films, gross, not me. I believe that's Patrick Wilson back there, who is the man of the story or whatever. Gross. I am not into the horror film, and just seeing that red eye poking through a broken mirror is creeping me out, so we're going to move on. The next film, which I will definitely be wanting to see, although this is the first time I'm hearing anything about it, and this movie is called After the Hunt, and this is from director Luca Guadagnino, and written by Nora Garrett. But it says, not everything is supposed to make you comfortable. Ooh, so this whole movie is supposed to make me uncomfortable after the hunt? I don't know. But we do see in the top left corner there Michael Stuhlbarg, and then Julia Roberts, Ayo Edebiri, and Andrew Garfield. Of course, my Spider-Man. And then it says also Chloe Sevigny? Sorry if I butchered your name. But that's coming out in theaters in October, and it's going to be rated R. But Julia Gardner, Andrew Garfield, Ayo Edebiri from The Bear, and Michael Stuhlbarg, Stuhlbarg, who I love his work. Every time I've seen him, I'm like, wow, this guy's great. So, decent cast, great director. I'm thinking that might be definitely worth the watch. But speaking of great cast and great director, Spike Lee's Highest to Lowest with Denzel Washington and A$AP fucking Rocky, and some other people, I'm guessing. But that rated R film is currently in theaters now, and it will be on Apple TV Plus streaming September 5th. And its Rotten Tomato debuted with 91% with 45 critic reviews. And this is a 2-hour and 13-minute R-rated mystery/thriller. It is a remake from a Kurosawa film that I have not seen, but it is certified fresh for Mr. Spike Lee and Denzel Washington. Comment below. Are you going to want to go see Highest to Lowest in theaters? Or are you going to wait for it to come out on Apple TV Plus? Or are you not going to see it at all? Comment below your thoughts on any of these topics that I'm talking about today. I'd love to hear your thoughts. But another movie that is just coming to theaters and is definitely looking hilarious is Bob Odenkirk's Nobody 2. In this one, he takes the family to a water park, I believe, and then he has to kick some bad guy's ass. I've been hearing not as good as the first film. The first film I thought was just a genuinely good film, but also Bob Odenkirk's take at being John Wick, if you know what I mean. And then the second one just seems like an excuse for him to get back into the saddle and kick some more ass, which if you enjoy Nobody 1, I'm sure you'll enjoy Nobody 2. But the Rotten Tomato score for that is sitting at 83% with 48 reviews for an hour and 29 minutes R-rated film. So I probably will wait for this one to come out on streaming. I definitely don't want to go, I have no ambition inside of me to go see this in theaters. Probably because I saw the first one at home. But when this does come out on streaming, or even maybe to rent, I would rent it. But when it comes out on streaming, I will 100% be checking this film out just for Bob Odenkirk. I mean, Better Call Saul, come on, baby. Speaking of TV shows, though, in this Amazon Prime poster for Season 2 of Fallout, and they are heading to New Vegas for the fans of the games. Fallout New Vegas, I believe, was a big game, and being in Vegas for this should be dope. But Season 2 coming December to Amazon Prime. This is an IGN exclusive image. And then they also released a bunch of first look images at the cast in a little bit of Season 2, because I don't think they've released a trailer for this yet, but giving us some first looks. We do see Walton Goggins here before he becomes the Ghoul, passing a diner that says Lucky 38, I believe. Interesting. Another shot of Walton Goggins here talking to some woman, and you can see everybody in the bar has like pit bosses on their wrists. Maybe not everybody, but definitely the two guys behind Walton and the woman that he's talking to. And I wonder if this is definitely just flashbacks before he became the Ghoul, and you know, maybe the Ghoul has a bigger backstory and bigger part of this than we expected. But now, back in the present day as we know him, Walton Goggins as the Ghoul, walking with Ella Purnell's character of the Vault Dweller. I don't even remember what her character's name was, but I'll rewatch Season 1 when we go to watch Season 2. But so far, the two of them in the middle of this desert here walking to Vegas, and I wonder if they have the dog. I wonder if they have dog meat. But Ella Purnell is goddamn beautiful, and I do love her as this character, as this Vault Dweller. So I'm definitely going to be back for Season 2 of Fallout. I don't know about y'all. I definitely want to see more power armors, and I believe this is Titus here, and he seems to have maybe gotten a raise or something for this military group, or what do they call them in the Fallout universe? Like the Brothers of Power Armor or something like that. You get Brothers of Steel, maybe, for the Fallout fans. They're like screaming at the TV right now. I'm not a huge Fallout fan, okay? My roommate is, but I will definitely be watching this show. And then the last image here, I believe that's a power armor behind him, but you can see in a suit here, I believe his actor's name is Christopher McLaughlin? Something McLaughlin? He was the original Paul Atreides in the original Dune movie. He was also in How I Met Your Mother, and he was the captain, my captain, oh captain. But he seems to have a big old chunky pit boss on his wrist here, and he's standing in front of 3 mirrors, and very creepy shot, but you can see the power armor behind him, kind of open, ready for him to step inside, so maybe he's driving a power armor. Or isn't that how Season 1 kind of ended? He was in a power armor and kind of flew away. I don't know. But he's still alive, so Season 2 should be epic. Comment below your thoughts about Fallout and Fallout Season 2, and if I should do a rewatch of Fallout Season 1, would you guys want to see a recap breakdown of Season 1 and then breakdowns for Season 2 in December when that comes out? Comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. But something I'm very excited for, coming out of retirement basically from, you know, the last 8 years he hasn't acted, and that would be Daniel Day-Lewis, and he is returning for his role in Anemone, I think is the title. Is that how you say it? A-N-E-M-O-N-E, Anemone, I think is how it's said. And this is from director Ronan Day-Lewis, so his son he came out of retirement for to work. I believe that is Sean Bean next to him, maybe in the background too, so just the two of them alone, I'm going to be in. But you can see Daniel Day-Lewis hair here has white hair, and he has this big old handlebar, kind of Hulk Hogan mustache. But returning to acting after 8 long years, and this guy's referred to as one of the best actors of all time. You know, and actors love this man's work, and every time he embodies a character, I mean, there will be blood. I've abandoned my boy! You know, like, he's a phenomenal actor. I mean, The Butcher and Gangs of New York, God, and that's a movie I haven't seen, both movies I haven't seen in a long time. Comment below if Daniel Day-Lewis is the type of person that you would want me to go watch all of his filmography and go back and, you know, really go through all of his work and showcase what a great actor this guy is. Also Sean Bean. Fucking love Sean Bean. Something else, though, that I'm very excited for, and that I didn't even realize was happening, because I am excited for Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, but little did I know that there's 3 upcoming Frankenstein movies, all kind of in the works at the same time. One of them being Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, with Jacob Elordi playing Frankenstein. And then you have Christian Bale playing Frankenstein, and his seems like maybe a moody horror love story, maybe? Because that's from Maggie Gyllenhaal's The Bride, so I'm thinking maybe Maggie Gyllenhaal is playing like the bride of Frankenstein, and Christian Bale is Frankenstein. And Christian Bale and Maggie Gyllenhaal have a connection from the Batman The Dark Knight, right? She played Rachel, the second Rachel. And then there's also Radu Jude's Frankenstein in Romania, with Sebastian Stan maybe being Frankenstein, or maybe he's the doctor of Frankenstein, or whatever that movie's about. But 3 upcoming Frankenstein movies all in the works. But the one I'm most excited for is definitely Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, coming to Netflix November 7th and in select theaters October 17th. So if I can get to a theater near me to see this in October for like a Halloween vibe, I would love this. But if not, right after Halloween on Netflix, a rated R Frankenstein movie from Guillermo del Toro. This looks incredible. I can't wait for this. And I just really want to see Jacob Elordi's Frankenstein. Just the design of him, and like the snowy tundra, and like the brief shots we've seen of him, and the brief shots we've heard of his voice. Like, I gotta see what he was able to do for this Frankenstein's monster. And only monsters play God. Ooh, and this, maybe it's all about Oscar Isaac's Dr. Frankenstein playing God, making this man, he's alive! You know, like, I wonder how classic it's gonna be, you know, with the lightning, and if he's gonna have his crazy, it's alive! You know, like, oh God, I love a good Frankenstein movie. I love a good monster movie. But speaking of monsters, kicking off James Gunn's DC saga with gods and monsters was Superman. And Superman is going to be out on 4K Blu-ray and DVD release in like the Steelbook or whatever on September 23rd, and is already available for digital on your TV, because he wanted it to be available for people to see before Peacemaker Season 2 comes out August 21st, this Thursday. So stay tuned for Friday, I believe, when I'll come out with my breakdown episode for the first episode of Peacemaker, but we'll talk more about that in a second. But the covers here for the Superman Steelbooks, you have one where he's kind of standing in front of some people, and then you have the Blu-ray where his cape's kind of flying off to one side, and then it looks like you have the regular DVD where Crypto and him are flying into camera, you know? Very cool. But the coolest part to me about Superman coming out on digital in as soon as it is that they released this like behind the scenes featurette, and it was like an hour long, and then there's clips going all over social media, and one of them was of James and David Cornsweet arguing about a scene, and everyone was like, oh, this doesn't seem like a positive work about, like, people just don't understand. These two were so passionate about getting this scene right that it came to argument just for like a second. And then what James says to him hits him so deeply that he just goes, okay, I got it. And then he goes back in and delivers what is the final scene of Superman. And it's like so emotional and beautiful. And I was like, you know, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about this clip. But I have the clip, so let's take a look at this, especially the moment I'm talking about.
He starts saying, I don't know if I feel this.
The whole crew's sitting around waiting like, come on, let's shoot, let's get this done. So finally I walked off set and to talk to him in person.
So great, but the is it am I if I say that's what it is to be human, that feels like I'm trying to prove it still as opposed to I really know it.
Emotions are always lingering.
But isn't there something I felt like shit about myself since the recording came out. Is this not the moment where I go, I was wrong to feel that way?
That's exactly where the issue is, right? Because what he didn't tell you was it was wrong to feel that way. There are feelings and there are thoughts. Your feelings about feeling bad are okay. It's not wrong for you to feel that way. It's not right or wrong anything. None of it is right or wrong. All of it is being vulnerable. And in this moment, for you to talk about how it's okay to be vulnerable, you have to be vulnerable, which means showing Lex that your feelings are hurt. In the point when you really shouldn't.
That's where you've always been wrong about me, Lex. I'm as human as anyone else. I love, I get scared. I wake up every morning and despite not knowing what to do, I put one foot in front of the other and I try to make the best choices I can. And every time you say that I don't belong, it hurts my feelings. That's being human. And that's my greatest strength.
I got emotional a second ago because I really do think that what this movie is about is why do we love Superman so much? Is it because he can punch planets or pick up skyscrapers? I don't think it is. I think it's because of his innate goodness and his humanity.
Oh, God. He just like, you know, you gotta show him that your fucking feelings are hurt. And he's like, okay, I get it. And then he goes and delivers that line so beautifully. Like, oh, man, David Cornsweet is Superman. Down to the point where he's a Juilliard-trained actor, and he's not afraid to waste time on set because he, as an actor, needs to know what his character is feeling in the moment. And he isn't, like, his brain wasn't connecting to what the character's heart was feeling in the moment. And then James just beat it into him, you know, what he needed to hear in that moment. And, you know, James is, you know, James, so of course he's animated in the way he talks, he's, you know, pointing at his chest, and I love it. But, you know, some of these, you know, one of my favorite things in movies is figuring out how these movies were made and seeing the behind the scenes. And, you know, one of my favorite actors, Gary Oldman, said one of his favorite notes on, like, a director, and one of the best directions he's ever been given from a director was Christopher Nolan talking to him as, you know, he was playing Jim Gordon, you know, Commissioner Gordon in Batman, in the Batman Dark Knight trilogy. And he said to him, walked over, and he just was like, you know, one word, just kind of, there's more at stake, and then just walked away. And he was like, okay, cool. Like, yeah, I get it. You know, I get exactly what you mean. There's more at stake, you know, like, and then he delivers it perfectly. And, you know, whether it's one line to Gary Oldman, who's a terrific actor working with a terrific director, that could work perfectly, or a younger actor working with a terrific director, and clearly having this passion and emotion to get it right, and I think it worked beautifully, because that closing sequence in Superman, and how it's words and not punch punch kick kick, you know, like, there's a little bit of punch punch before this, but, like, you know, the final act of the movie, the final hurrah of this movie is verbally, you know, with your words, tearing down Lex for being an asshole, and Lex is an asshole, so he deserves it, you know, like, I absolutely love Superman. I've now seen it twice over the weekend since it came out on Friday, and I might even rewatch it again. I just friggin' love this movie. It's so good. Like, it's highly rewatchable. I can't recommend it enough. And then there was little behind-the-scenes things coming out, like this scene between Clark and Lois in her apartment at the beginning of the movie, and, you know, one of the funniest lines in that, like, you know that is silly, come on, you know, like, and one of the line deliveries, James is messing with him. He goes, give us a twirl, please. And this is the clip of it.
Oh no, that's very silly.
Do the twirl. Do it one time for us. So good.
Yes, but you know that's very silly.
They made her do the twirl just one time for us. And then you know this is very silly. You know, like, the one they used was the best one, but the twirl was very funny. But moving on a little bit to Peacemaker Season 2, which James Gunn said is a direct continuation from Superman. So I think Peacemaker Season 2 might be connected to Superman a lot more than we think, and maybe even possibly have Superman in it. But so far, Peacemaker Season 2 is certified fresh from Rotten Tomatoes, and its current score that I last time looked at it, with 35 reviews, was sitting at 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is kind of impressive. You know, like at first it was 16 and then it was 20 something, and I was like, wow, okay, it's still holding that 100%. Now it's at 30 something and it's still holding, right? So I'm sure that number will go down, and as soon as the audience can get into it and we watch it on Thursday, I'm sure the Schneider pussies will start review bombing it. But the people that actually genuinely like it will save the score and it will be fine. But so far, James Gunn, in his Rotten Tomato scores from his Superman projects, 82% is his lowest score with Guardians 3. And Guardians 3 is phenomenal, and the only reason that score is that low is because it's incredibly sad. You know, it's a sad culmination to that movie. Same thing, I think, with Guardians Volume 2. People were like, you made me cry about Yondu. Less score, you know? But, like, all three of the Guardians movies are phenomenal. But then Guardians 1, which is arguably the best, is 92%. The Guardians Holiday Special is the most of the Guardians, sitting at 94%, which is crazy. And then Superman, which did get review bombed from the Snyderverse, so you still got to put that into your mind as some type of number, but is still certified fresh with an 83%. The Suicide Squad is 90% on Rotten Tomatoes. Peacemaker Season 1 was 93%, which probably is about where I see Season 2 landing at once Season 2 comes out. And then Creature Commandos was 95% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes. So that alone is very impressive. But currently sitting at 100% Season 2, and will it continue to go on? Who knows? But the release schedule for Peacemaker Season 2 goes as follows. Episode 1 dropping August 21st, this Thursday, and then they're going 1 episode per week. Thank you, James Gunn. Didn't even do a 2-episode premiere. 1 at a time for 8 weeks. Over the next 8 weeks, we shall discuss all things Peacemaker and Peacemaker Season 2, and I might even recap Peacemaker Season 1 before this Thursday. So stay tuned for that, maybe coming out on Wednesday. But also then there's going to be an Alien Earth video that should be coming out Wednesday, so maybe that video comes out Thursday. I don't know. I'm going to try and maybe get a video up for Wednesday. Maybe 2 videos. One of them will be a Peacemaker Season 1 recap. Maybe that will drop on Thursday, the day that Peacemaker Season 2 comes out. So anybody trying to watch Peacemaker Season 2 can get a recap before they go into that. And I'm sure it might drop August 21st at like 8 o'clock or something. I doubt, you know, when you wake up Thursday morning that it will already be on Max. I'm sure it will be like an 8 or 9 o'clock thing on the East Coast where I'm from. Maybe the West Coasters will get lucky with a 6 o'clock start time, but you guys are bastards. But just to wrap up today's show, Spider-Man Brand New Day wrapped filming in Glasgow. Not filming entirely, just the filming that they were doing in Glasgow. So this Glasgow era of outdoor filming of Spider-Man where everyone's getting these crazy, incredible shots of him swinging and standing on top of a tank and in the various Spider-Man poses and the suit looking incredible and Tom Holland wearing the suit to perfection. Giant web, you know, web shooters on his wrist. They look phenomenal. And then there was also a potential Punisher van spotted on set, and we seen a little shot of Spider-Man on the hood of it, and there's like a cutout in the windshield where like there was, I don't think it was Bernthal in the van, but you know, whoever was the stunt double for Punisher, he's like pointing a gun through the van window at Spider-Man who's riding the hood of this van. So maybe Spider-Man's trying to stop them, or maybe, you know, Punisher's trying to help Spider-Man stop whoever is in this tank. I don't know. But Punisher van returning for Spider-Man Brand New Day and making the Punisher van canon to the MCU, which is just cool as fuck. But you can see the shot here that did have like a watermark from at Jonam or something. I can barely see it, but you can see it says wrap filming at the bottom, and Spider-Man's there, and I think that's Dustin Daniel Cretton maybe behind him, and they have this Mercedes van with the boom filming arm, and like I think this is the whole crew of Spider-Man Brand New Day sitting here, and I believe the only actor we can actually see here is Tom Holland in the Spider-Man suit. So like maybe this was just all Spider-Man filming outside doing some action sequence stuff, or maybe all of this filming in Glasgow was just for one chase sequence, right? Because it didn't seem like he was doing a whole lot of dialogue. It was just catching outdoor stunt stuff, and it probably could have been Tom's stunt double the whole time, but from what I've seen and what I understand, Tom Holland was really in that suit, so props to him. I think Spider-Man Brand New Day is going to look incredible. I can't wait to know more about this film, and it's shitty that we have now lost our Glasgow, leaking photos, but, who knows where they're going to be filming now. Probably in London or in Georgia, in Atlanta, in like a studio, keeping it tight, keeping it quiet. And we'll probably not hear from Spider-Man Brand New Day until that comes out next year. But less than a year out for that, so that's exciting. A little countdown, less than 11 months or something to that. So can't wait, but we got Peacemaker Season 2 around the corner, and James Gunn coming out with some more Superman stuff. He just teased the other day that he has writ a treatment for the next thing in the Superman saga, whatever that means. But comment below your thoughts on everything that we talked about today. Make sure you hit that bell if you don't want to miss next week's weekly nerdy news, and you get the notifications when those come out every Monday. Thank you guys so much for coming on by. My name is Big Cam, and if you want to support my other social medias, links for those down in the description below. And if you made it this far in the video and you would like to support the channel, the best way to do that is liking this video, commenting down in the comment section below, subscribing if you haven't already, and like I said, hit that bell so you don't miss future videos and get the notifications. Once again, my name is Big Cam. Thank you guys so much for coming on by, and I will see you beautiful people in the next one. Peace!